Well, hello, hello. I am streaming from a different location today. I am saying hello to all of you. I am not at my regular location. I'm in a more beautiful spot. And it is a lovely day. And so I'm like, why do this um, inside when I can be outside? Because it is beautiful today. So I am so happy that you've been able to join me. Good afternoon, officially. Happy Monday to you. I'm streaming from two different devices, so you might see me going back and forth. But thank you so much for joining me today. I am Dr. Tanya, and this is Dr. Tanya Live. And so we have been doing this for 15 days. Today is day 16. And I want to thank you for joining me and tuning in. Before we get started, I do like to start with a scriptural verse. And this verse is really important to me because it grounds me in the work that I do. And so it's Ephesians 2:10, for we are God's masterpiece. And he has created us anew in Christ Jesus so that we can do the good things that he's planned for us long ago. And so I love sharing that verse because I know that there are some good things that God has in store for you, especially if you're somebody who wants to walk in your purpose and wants to. Um, Build a business. And so I want to just say hello and welcome and thank you for being here. You're not here by accident. I mean, here on this live, but you're also not here on this earth by accident because you have been made in God's image with special gifts and talents and abilities. You have an opportunity to do some amazing things in your life. And I'm just grateful that you're with me today. I hope that you walk away feeling like you understand who you are and that God has plans for you, and those plans are to prosper you and to make you successful. And I do have a favor to ask of you. If you don't mind, I would love for you to just share with your networks. If you're not already following me on social media, go ahead and follow me. I really appreciate when I get the follows. And I also would recommend that you subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel. Um, so thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, today is day 16 of my 90-day challenge. So I have challenged myself every single day to show up live to encourage women and some men who are ready to start their businesses, who have dreams of getting a business going. They don't quite know how to get it off the ground. They're looking to build it, or maybe they just need to start it, So maybe you have some ideas and you have a dream and you haven't figured out how to get it even moving. So that's why we're here. So for those of you who are new, I am Dr. Tanya, and this is Dr. Tanya Live, real talk for women and men building their businesses. And today's topic is going to be oh, I messed up my own page here where that has today's topic on it. Today's topic is fear is not your business plan. Fear is not your business plan. So I do like to keep some notes that just kind of helps me stay grounded and make sure that I don't steer too far off of my subject because I can get excited when I start talking. So I'm grateful that you're with us. And so grab your lunch, get comfortable. Let's get into this conversation. And also, if you want to talk back to me, the chats are live and I can hopefully see them. At least I have it set up so that I can see them. In the meantime, let's get into this topic. Fear is not your business plan. What do I mean by that? And the other part to that topic is naming what's really stopping you. So, I have to start with a story, my own story. So, and this is something that I share in my ebook that's entitled "Fear is Not Your Business Plan." Um, but I share a story about how fear has gripped me at times. And just yesterday, I'm a singer, and some of you may know that. Some of you are new to me, so you may not know. I sing gospel music, and I've been singing since I was like a little girl, singing in the children's choir, my first solo when I was about 6 years old. Um, but what's interesting about that is I've never had to take on the responsibility of kind of like leading the worship in a service. Um, outside of just like doing a solo or a few lines here and there. And so, most recently, sometime late spring, I was asked by the pastor and others in music ministry at my church to lead a service. And this is like an early service that we have, and this is a service that um, there's only two musicians. There are no background singers. It's just one singer who is just leading the entire service. And so um, I've been asked to lead during the service, and this is a first for me, to kind of have the responsibility that typically the worship leader has. I love singing, um, but I can get extremely nervous, especially with the responsibility that comes with leading a worship service like this responsibility. And so I can tell you, the very first time I was asked to do it, the nerves that I had were almost insurmountable, like almost to the point where I thought that I was gonna puke. I mean, I was so nervous. My stomach was in complete knots. My mouth was dry. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling where you're that scared to do something. I just really struggled with being in that role and having that kind of responsibility while I'm singing. And so I did it. But I actually took that on as something that I needed to really pray about, because I could not let fear like take over and just, be in control. And so I really started praying about my own nerves and the role that I'd be taking on. And just yesterday, I was given another opportunity, and this is probably maybe the fourth or the fifth time I've done it. And I will say that if my nerves were at a 10 the first time, yesterday they were at a 5. So I've been working on the fear factor and really trying to understand the gift that God has given me and the opportunity that there is to be able to minister to people through song. And so this is an area that I have actively been working on. And so I know how fear operates and how it can really stifle us, and it can do head tricks on us, and it can make us feel inadequate and feel like we don't measure up. And because I've dealt with that myself, I deal with it. Um, but I also know that happens with people when it comes to business. When God gives you an idea for a new business, and I've spoken to people who really struggle with taking those first steps, and actually, or they take the first steps, but they don't take any more steps. They just stop right there. They get overwhelmed with the idea of getting this business off the ground. They get overwhelmed with how much work might be entailed with starting a new business. Um, one of the clients that I'm working with, I actually had her write down, and she has a huge God dream of a business. And that's the thing. A lot of times we distinguish between the ideas that we might have and the ideas that God may give us. And when God gives us ideas, they often are far bigger than us, just like our purpose is far bigger than us. Our purpose is really for other people. We're not here on this earth for ourselves, we are here for the benefit of others. And so when I think about this particular client that I'm working with, and I've had her write down everything that she's learned and accomplished in, I would say, probably 6 sessions that we've been working together. And when I say she had a page and a half, single spaced, of things that she's learned and accomplished in six different sessions, 6 one-hour sessions. So in 6 hours over a course of time, she has grown tremendously. And for her, she had a lot of fear centered around getting her business started, just like so many of us do. So many of us struggle with that fear, but fear is not our business plan. And we cannot allow fear to stop us from being able to move forward in the ideas and the dreams that God has put inside of our hearts. Because we have these dreams because He can trust us to do something with them. And a lot of times we don't always know or understand how we're going to do it. But it's interesting because I was just having a conversation with my business partner, Dr. Erica, and today we were talking about another venture that we're going to be starting and opening, and we were talking about the how of making this happen. And she revealed an idea that was like, of course, that is an idea. That is like, why didn't we think of that? Someone else had shared it with her. But sometimes you can have an idea about something, and if you hold those ideas in and you sit on the fear that you can't do the thing that you're supposed to do, because fear whispers things in your ear like, you're not capable, you don't have enough money, you need more education, you don't have enough support. Fear will is sneaky that way, and fear will talk you out of moving forward. Fear doesn't like movement. So fear will talk you out of moving forward in getting your dreams started and getting this business idea that you have off the ground. Fear will talk you out of it simply because that's how fear operates. Fear has a job. It has one job. That job is to stop you from being able to move forward in what you're supposed to do. It is to paralyze you. It is to stop you. It is to confuse you or to overwhelm you or to scare you. That job, fear often is very successful with many of us because we open ourselves up and we allow fear to do that. And unless we understand that fear has no power and that there is a spirit of fear looking to intimidate you, a spirit of fear looking to hold you hostage and to cause you to be timid to move forward in getting your gifts moving through the dreams and the purpose that God has put inside of you. I think about the scripture in Second Timothy chapter 1 verses 6 and 7. And in that sixth verse it talks about like stir up the gifts, like like Paul is telling Timothy to stir up the gifts that God has put inside, especially after the laying on of hands. And like there are gifts that God has given to you, gifts that he wants you to move forward with, gifts that he does not want you to be sitting on and holding on to. And these are gifts that oftentimes we don't do anything with. And when you get to that seventh verse, it talks about not giving into this spirit of fear, but understanding that we have power and love. And a couple versions of the Bible will use the word self-discipline. Others say sound mind. And so I thought about that for a minute. And I'm like, okay, well, what does it mean? Why is it talking about stirring up these gifts and then not having the spirit of fear? Because if you think about the spirit of fear, the spirit of fear is debilitating. The spirit of fear will cause you to never move forward with what you're supposed to do. But if you have a sound mind and self discipline, because in order for you to build a business from the beginning, you need just that. A lot of the work in getting our business started is here. It's here, in between the ears, in our mind, in our mindsets, in the thoughts that we have. And those thoughts, if they are riddled with fear, those thoughts will hold you back from getting that business off the ground and getting it moving the way that God has designed for you to move. And so, my question to you is, how are you going to address this fear? How are you going to tackle it? How are you going to ensure that you are not being held hostage by this spirit of fear that is really trying to hold you back from doing what God has called you to do? Um, the thing about fear is we often will yield ourselves to fear when we should be moving forward, because fear is pretty sneaky. Like sometimes you don't even realize that something is fear. Fear will disguise itself, and it will disguise itself as preparation, it'll disguise itself as wisdom or truth. And ultimately, fear is your enemy. It is not your business plan. It is your enemy. Fear will make you think that you can't move forward in getting your business started because you're not prepared enough. Here's the truth: there's no such thing as being too prepared. We can prepare ourselves, but we're always going to be preparing. There's always something that we're adjusting and always something that we're doing differently when we start a business. We're always evolving in business. You can have a plan and you can prepare, but beyond that preparation, just know that you don't have control over everything that happens, which is another reason why some people don't get started because they realize they can't control all of the situations. So if you are someone who feels you need to control everything, I've got news for you. That news is you're in trouble because there is nothing that you can control when you start a business. Not nothing. I take that back. There are some things you can control, but you can't always control the outcome. You can't control who's going to see that you have a business, who's going to buy from you. You have to do the work. That's your job. That's your responsibility to do the work, to get moving, to get started. You can't rely on um, or you can't depend on what fear tells you because fear will tell you that there's not enough preparation in this world to get you started. Fear will hold you hostage in a way that you will procrastinate so that years will start to go by before you get your business off the ground. I share this story, and I've shared it before, about a really dear friend of mine who told me about a business idea that she had over 20 years ago. It took her over 20 years to finally say yes to the ideas that God had put in her spirit long ago. But if you don't move on it, it's not going to leave you. If this is something that God has for you, if He has this plan in place for you, it will not let you rest until you actually move on it and get going with what He has given you to do. And so I share that because I think it's really important for you to understand how not moving actually looks worse, and it's terrible. What I can say about my friend is when she looks back over all the years that she did not start her business, the regrets are like nonstop. She is very regretful because she can see how if she had started 20 something years ago, she could have been so much further along. I think about people who are in the process of exiting their businesses. They've been in business for 20 or more years or 10 years and they're willing to sell, they're in a position to sell their businesses, and if they had never started, they could never sell. And most people, when they get a business going and it's successful, you can usually sell that business for more than it's what it's valued at. So say your business is valued at $1 million, likely sell that business for maybe $2 to $5 million, depending on the circumstances. Now, don't quote me on valuation or any of that. Just understand that a lot of people will go into business and they'll sell their businesses. But if you never start, you're never in a position to move forward with it. Fear will trick you into rehearsing things. Remember, I said it starts in the mind. Fear will trick you into rehearsing things like, well, I should wait until I have enough money to get this business started, or until I have more training or more education to get this business started. I'm not against any training. I'm not against you getting the resources that you need. But I do know that if you think that you can't move forward without it, you're mistaken because there are things that you can learn even when you get your business going. I'm not saying not to prepare, and I'm not saying not to do your due diligence to learn what you need to do up front. I'm not saying that, but when you procrastinate and you're like, well, just one more class, just one more training, just one more dollar, whatever it is, then you're never moving forward. You're never getting this business off the ground. Fear will trick you into rehearsing things like, well, I don't have enough support. I don't have enough time. I said this last week. We make time for what's important. What's important gets done. If it is important for you to get this business off the ground, if it has been plaguing you for years and year after year, you realize another year has gone by and you haven't moved on getting this business off the ground, then you've been tricked. You've been tricked by the enemy of fear. Fear will say that you're not, will tell you that you're not confident, will, feed language that basically um, causes you to believe that you are not confident enough or that you're not worthy or good enough to get your business going. But you have to combat that fear. First of all, recognize what it is. If you find that you have this idea and you've had this idea for years and years and years, you need to stop and question yourself. What is stopping me from moving forward? Do a self examination, understand where the source of this procrastination is coming from, or where the source of this fear is coming from. I can tell you it's not coming from God. Because if God gives you something, if He gives you an idea, I mean, yes, He may have timing for when you're supposed to move forward, and you need to seek Him on that timing. But if He's given you something and He's told you to move forward, and you have been disobedient and have chosen not to move forward with it, then you are hurting not only yourself, but you're hurting the people whose lives you're supposed to touch through the business that you're offering. So you may need to, think about the problems that your business can solve, because businesses are designed. If you don't exist, then how will those individuals who need you to help them solve their problems, how are they going to get along? They're going to have to find somebody else, or maybe they never get their business solved because what you can solve is so unique to you. And so I want to encourage you and to push you to move past this fear, examine it, understand where it's coming from, and then combat it. Don't sit and allow fear to take over who you are and to take over what you're supposed to be doing. Um, because your dream can die, and we don't want your dream to die. We don't want you to lose that dream. There's opportunities out there for you that you can be taking advantage of. You could be growing a business. You could be growing revenue. You could be doing things. A lot of people will start businesses to earn extra revenue. Some people will do it to replace their jobs. Some people will do it because there's a need that has to be met, and they are the ones that have the solution to meet that need. And it doesn't matter what your reason is. I want you to not allow fear to hold you back, to not allow fear to be your business plan. Yes, you need a plan. Yes, you need a business plan, but don't let fear be a part of that. You've got to knock fear out the way. And my question to you is, when you know that fear is always going to be lurking because it's the enemy looking to destroy anything that you're going to do, how what are you going to believe? What do you choose to believe about yourself, about the business that you're going to build, the business that you're going to get off the ground, the business that you're going to start, the dreams that have been put inside of you? What do you choose to believe? Do you choose to believe the lies that fear tells you, that you can't do this, that you don't have enough experience, that you don't have enough time or money? Are you going to choose to believe that? Or are you going to choose to believe that you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength? Because knowing that you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength should catapult you into action and movement, where you're not sitting and waiting for things to happen, but you are actually doing the things that demonstrate the belief that you have. You're doing what needs to happen to get that business going. Fear, like I said, does not like movement. And when you think about that spirit of fear, whose job ultimately is to hold you back, to paralyze you, and to create doubt, you cannot give in to that. You need to make a decision that you are going to move forward in what it is that God has designed for you. And in moving forward, you are demonstrating your faith, and you are taking action that is going to land you somewhere. It doesn't mean that you're gonna have all the answers. You may not have all the answers as you're building this new business, and that's okay. But do not let this spirit of fear stop you from building what God has put inside of you. Do you want to stand before Him one day in judgment? And He said, I gave you this idea. I wanted you to help people. I was going to bless you, but you chose not to move forward. You chose to let fear whisper in your ear and dictate what I have given to you, or dictate against what I have given to you. Don't let that happen. Don't allow fear to stop you or create doubt in you that you can't do what you are designed to do. That's why we have these gifts and these talents. That's why we have them, because they're supposed to be used for something that God has as a part of His plan for each of us. And so I would hate for those gifts to be taken away. I would hate for you to lose out on your blessing because you allow fear to win or fear to be your God. Fear is not your business plan, but God can give you what you need to get your business plan off the ground, to get your business off the ground. So, what is it that you choose to believe? That's my question for you. What do you choose to believe as you move forward? Like I said, fear doesn't like movement, but God does. He says that faith without works is dead. And so that means that we've got to move. We've got to take action. That's movement. The works that we're doing, that's action, that's movement. That is exactly what fear doesn't want us to do, which is why we can't allow fear to be our plan or to be our God, what moves we're going to make, especially when God has given them to us. So I wanted to just share with you. I have an ebook, and I've shared in the last 3 weeks. I've shared a 10-day devotional that I have, that if you're not on Instagram, you're on any of the other social media platforms, you can see running across the screen, you can see that you can go to my website to download the free resources that's available. There's one that I have, When Fear Knocks, and that is a 10-day devotional. It is free. You can actually do it right there on your phone. But I also have an ebook and a companion that goes with that ebook, which is really more a journal companion and a reflection kind of companion that actually gets you moving. And I want to make that available to you as well. And that one, there is a low cost for that, but I will tell you that it will change your life. I speak from a place of testimony from my own journey. I can tell you how important it is to take walks of faith and to move forward in the things that God has called you to. And I walk you through what that journey is like. And then I challenge you to look at your own journey. So I recommend that you go to my website, TanyaBreland.com, where you can download Fear is Not Your Business Plan. It's an ebook just for you, and the companion guide that goes along with it. So I want to thank you for joining me today for another Dr. Tanya Live. Tomorrow, when we get together, we are going to be talking about a different topic. Tomorrow's topic is purpose is not the same as your job title. So we're going to be dealing with purpose and the title that you have, the role that you have at work. And so we're going to address that tomorrow during our session. If today's conversation about fear not being your business plan resonated with you, I invite you to send me a message. You can inbox me, you can DM me, you can shoot me an email, Tanya@TanyaBreland.com, and that's Tanya with an O. You can go to my website and you can contact me. But either way, I will respond. I don't take lightly that you've decided to spend some time with me. I thank you for being here. Again, you can get the free devotional, When Fear Knocks, and you can also have access to the ebook, Fear is Not Your Business Plan. Thank you again for joining me today. Don't wait to say yes to what your next assignment is. Say yes and move forward. God bless you. I appreciate your being here.